Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for coming. USAID Mission Director, Mr. John Alelo, Polytechnic former Rector, Dr. Yuri Sarkisyan, ANCA Director, Mr. Rupen Topjan, American University of Armenia community members, including faculty, staff, students, and all of our friends, alumni, and supporters throughout the world. It's my pleasure this morning to welcome all of you here to what we regard as a milestone event in the history of the American University of Armenia. I'm honored to host this press conference to announce that AUA has just received reaffirmation of accreditation from the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, or WASC, WASC's Senior College and University Commission. Most notably, we earned the maximum possible 10-year accreditation, which is awarded by the Commission relatively rarely. In fact, a 10-year reaccreditation puts us in the ranks of some of the world's top-rated institutions, including places like Stanford University, the University of California Berkeley, and the University of Southern California, among others. This conferral is a recognition and a reflection of our university's ability to consistently uphold the very highest of international standards in higher education. WASC is one of only 6 accrediting agencies recognized by the United States Department of Education for accrediting higher education in the United States. AUA first received accreditation from the Commission in August of 2006, nearly 10 years after beginning the accreditation process in the 1990s. We were the first institution that WASC accredited outside the United States. Today, by now, there are many others. In March of 2015, AUA's accreditation was reaffirmed for 9 more years through February of 2024. And on February 16, 2024, the Commission once again reaffirmed AUA's accreditation, this time for 10 years through the spring of 2034. AUA is currently the only university in Armenia and in the former Soviet Union that has earned regional accreditation recognized by the United States Department of Education. One of the top commendations from the Commission was regarding AUA's financial stability and the fact that our university offers heavily subsidized tuition. Tuition covers only 40% of the cost of educating a student here. So we rely on interest that's accrued on an endowment fund to make up a good fraction of the rest in the form of need-based financial assistance and scholarships for our students. And in fact, half of our student body receives some sort of financial aid in this way. In less than a decade, AUA has grown that endowment fund 5-fold, by a factor of 5 in less than a decade. This enables the university to continue our policy of need-blind and full-need admissions. The first of these means that need-blind admissions means that we admit students based only on their merit and not on how much financial aid they may need. The second of these, full need admissions, means that we are committed to providing them then with the financial support that they will need to attend AUA. This is thanks in large part to the long-time and generous backing of the Armenian diaspora, which has supported the university financially and educationally since its inception over the years. The Commission also commended AUA for successfully expanding into undergraduate education by offering 8 in-demand bachelor's degree programs, as well as a general education program and an array of student support services in the decades since our previous accreditation was affirmed. The Commission also remarked positively on our strong ethical guidelines and policies which serve as models for other local universities, as well as on our ability to maintain strong morale and active community engagement in difficult times in the face of the pandemic, geopolitical tensions, and multiple wars here. We feel that this 10-year reaccreditation represents really a resounding validation of our operations. The fact that we hire high-quality, internationally educated faculty, that we conduct regular program reviews, the fact that we are a student-centered institution with high state-of-the-art campus facilities. The Commission has also suggested a number of recommendations that will continue to propel AUA to new heights in the coming years. These include formalizing and developing the university's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, adapting to enrollment growth by identifying necessary infrastructure, and strengthening consistency and transparency in faculty workload and other administrative processes. In fact, we have already begun to address many of the recommendations that were suggested by the Commission. I would next like to thank AUA's boards of trustees. Indeed, the Commission specifically mentioned the unwavering support that AUA has received from its boards in their recommendations, in their commendations, sorry. We actually have two boards of trustees because we have two legal entities. We are a nonprofit entity in the United States called the American University of Armenia Corporation. And we are a himnataram, a foundation in the Republic of Armenia called the American University of Armenia Foundation. Our board members include the former system-wide provost of the University of California, Dr. Lawrence Pitts, who serves as our board's chair, the Minister of Education, Science, Culture, and Sport of the Republic of Armenia, the former president of the Academic Senate of the UCLA, the president of the Armenian General Benevolent Union, and the former rector of the National Polytechnic University of Armenia, Dr. Yuri Sarkisyan, who is here with us today. It also includes leaders of both Armenian and American industry. They have been incredibly generous in sharing their expertise and advice to us as how best to fulfill our mission. They're all committed to making AUA one of the top-ranked institutions in the country, and we hope someday in the world, because in the long run, international standards are really the only ones that matter. This 10-year reaccreditation from WASC, an institution that upholds the very highest standards of United States higher education practices, gives us increasing confidence that we can, in fact, compete in the international arena. The lengthy and rigorous process of reaffirmation and this milestone in our university's history would not have been possible without the commitment and the hard work of AUA's students, staff, and faculty who actively participated in the accreditation task force, the working groups, and the campus-wide discussions that took place. Accreditation and reaccreditation, it should really be understood, are not simply events, but they're processes that unfold over the course of years. And I'm sincerely grateful to all of our community members who contributed to the success of these processes, especially to Dr. Sharistan Melkonyan, sitting next to me, our accreditation liaison officer and Dean of General Education, who has been leading the Education Steering Committee. I would now like to ask Dr. Melkonyan to share some more information regarding the process that we undertook that propelled us to where we are today in today's announcement. Thank you. Sherry.
Thank you, Dr. Boasting. And thank you, Dr. Topcan, for being with us today. I also want to thank Dr. Yuri Sarkisyan, not only one of AUA's founders, but also one of the founding members of Armenia's accreditation agency, for being with us today. Accreditation ensures that universities will engage in continuous improvement. Part of that process is looking at what we do well, being able to shout that from our rooftops, and what areas need our attention. Earning U.S. accreditation is a sign to potential students and their families that an AUA degree is worth their time and effort. It's a sign to potential and existing faculty that AUA is a place worthy of sharing their expertise and their time, and it's a sign to the market that AUA graduates are ready to take on the challenges of the local, regional, and global environment. It's also an ongoing process. Since AUA's last reaffirmation of accreditation in 2015, AUA began fulfilling the recommendations it had received from WASC. These recommendations focused on strengthening the institution's financial position and capacity, continuing to implement the policy on faculty research and scholarship, enhancing diversity, and aligning program review, planning, and resource allocation. In order to retain accreditation status, universities are periodically reviewed to ensure that high educational as well as operational standards are met. Reaffirmation of accreditation is a multi-year self-study process that engages students, faculty, and staff in deep reflection on how educational capacity and effectiveness matter. It's a rigorous examination of how institutional resources, structures, and processes are aligned with the educational outcomes that we hope for. Certainly, this provided AUA with an opportunity to document our strengths, as noted both in our own self-study report as well as in WASC's report, but it also allowed us to identify those areas that need attention for improvement. Again, as noted both in AUA's self-study report and in WASC's report. AUA's most recent reaffirmation of accreditation started back in January of 2022, when the university began exploring two important themes. One, the integrity of AUA's undergraduate degree. This was considered important as AUA had begun undergraduate education only a decade before. And the general process and implementation of those processes that need us to review all of our academic programs. AUA's president appointed a task force that was made up of Dr. Adam Hadjan, Dean of the Zaven and Sonia Akyan College of Science and Engineering, Assistant Vice President Anahid Ordian, Manager Assessment and Compliance Brent Anders, and myself. Moreover, and perhaps more importantly, an accreditation steering committee was also appointed. It was composed of students, faculty, and staff that provide oversight for the task force. 3 working groups, also composed of students, faculty, and staff, conducted much of the work. They engaged in collecting and analyzing data that was compiled and reported by the university's Office of Institutional Research and Assessment, conducted surveys, and engaged campus stakeholders. Periodically, these working groups presented their findings to campus in open sessions and solicited both feedback in those sessions orally and through an anonymous online portal. This iterative process helped AUA ensure that the self-study report that was prepared accurately identified AUA's strengths as well as those areas that needed continuous attention. And WASC agreed with AUA's assessment of those strengths and those areas needing improvement. I'd like to reiterate that the entire campus community was involved in this process, worked together, and is incredibly proud to have earned the maximum tenure reaffirmation, and will work together toward continuous improvement and fulfillment of AUA's mission. AUA is also accredited by Armenia's National Center for Professional Education Quality Assurance Foundation, ANQA, which recognizes the high standards that WASC demands. Here with us today is ANQA's director, Dr. Rupen Topjan. We're pleased that you could join us today, and I invite you to share some thoughts about this milestone.
Thank you, Sharistan. I want to tell that ANCOA is the state-founded agency, but independent agency, and we are member of European Network of Quality Assurance Agencies and registered in ICAR. So we are well recognized internationally. But of course, country understand that American university developed the culture of following the culture of American education and quality assurance, and by the state it was WASC was recognized as an agency who can accredit in Armenia, and the results of that accreditation have to be input into the Armenian register of accredited institutions. So we now know the result, and we will input that data in our register. From my side, I want to tell that I'm very happy what we have American University here, but because this university, if shortly to talk about the accreditation, is recognition of the culture of the continuous enhancement. So all the words can come to this under this umbrella, and American University do it very well. They have a good internal quality assurance system which continuously enhance their services to the students and their education. So I am happy if we have now, if we come to this state, and we will continue together to implement the quality culture in the Armenian University. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for the question. I think the reason that we chose WASC was mostly historical. Maybe I should answer the second question first. The Department of Education in the United States recognizes a small number of accrediting agencies that are recognized as being able to do higher education accreditation in the United States for colleges and universities in the United States. And it's regional, so that in the northeastern United States, there's something called NEASC. In the west coast of the United States, there's WASC. It stands for Western Association of Schools and Colleges. So the other piece of the puzzle is that the University of California was one of the founding institutions of AUA. And the founders of AUA from the University of California were, of course, most familiar with WASC accreditation. So that's how it happened. The process began in the 1990s at that point. And did I get the second question? I think I did answer both of them. Yes? Okay. Oh, other universities. So other universities accredited by WASC are mostly in the western region of the United States, the majority of them in California, but I think there's probably some in Nevada as well and other western states. Hawaii as well. Hawaii is very far west. But it's entirely regional. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Now, thank you very much. Now we invite everyone to our faculty lounge for a